Cheating Death podcast is a comedy podcast providing objective information about anything and everything under the sun. We are not left nor right, nor are we center or trite. We are not religious or political. We are merely over-analytical. Listener discretion is advised. On today's episode of the Cheating Death podcast, we get into the conspiracy behind Weston, West Virginia's Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. The absolute horrors of the treatment at the facility, of course. We provide you with an all-new Annihilation Announcement, an all-new joke of the episode, our top 5 favorite current cold teas, and of course a lot more. So, dear listener, by now you know what to do. Grab a coffee, put your feet up on your table, and grab a blanket, and let us tell you how you can cheat death. This is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. The asylum system in America proved to be a prototypical absolute nightmare. You give people an inch and they will take a mile, regardless of whether they are a pauper or whether they are a practitioner or purveyor of prudence. It does not matter whether or not the individual or entity has a litany of experience with power or control. It does not matter what type of demographic they come from, for power is something that each and every single individual will handle differently. It cannot be trusted in the eyes and in the minds of those in whom wish to seek dominion over other people for malicious purposes. It must be provided, capitulated, and shared among those in whom are capable of balancing the burden, the behemoth, the Bronze Age of belligerence and complete and utter brutality. We need to do better when it comes to handling people with mental issues and as to how mental and psychiatric treatment is taken into consideration. When you understand that the individuals in whom are running governments more often than not have psychopathic personalities, and the individuals in whom are suffering at their worst are more often than not individuals with schizotype personalities, you understand that psychopaths and schizophrenics are complete and polar opposites, and they are natural enemies. So why would the psychopath not try to snuff its enemy out by eliminating resources that would assist the mentally ill at their lowest? This is all but a mere example, a mere drop in the ocean of the issues that we face when it comes to dealing with the most vulnerable. And though this Annihilation Announcement may indeed be a bulletin for the bereaved, you, dear listener, you are not alone. You can and you will succeed regardless of the circumstances put before you. Because if an idiot such as the soul speaking to you is still somehow, some way, breathing, speaking to you through everything that has transpired, rest assured, the world is at your feet. This has been your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. Willkommen, meine Freunde. Guten Morgen, guten Tag und eine gute Nacht. Ist deine Reisende, deine Ausländer, deine Allesfresser und deine Schauspieler. Deine Cleric of Chaos. Bist du traurig? Meine Freunde, komm mit mir. We are continuing our road trip, our lovely journey into the great beyond. Today, we visit the Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, located in Weston, West Virginia. Now, of course, for those in whom have history residing in West Virginia, this facility has undergone a couple of different names over the years. The West Virginia Hospital for the Insane, and of course, the Weston State Hospital, one of the longest, consistent, and open running asylums from 1864 all the way through to 1994. All patients were moved to the new William R. Sharp Jr. Hospital in Weston, named after William R. Sharp Jr. Now, we take into consideration exactly how the Allegheny Lunatic Asylum came to gain precedence and prominence in West Virginia proper itself. It is noted that during this time, there were a lot of prototypical treatments taking place as it pertained to the asylum as well as to its patients, utilizing what was then known as the architect Richard Snowden Andrews of Baltimore, Maryland. Construction may have began earlier than its actual beginning time, but of course bureaucratic red tape in the 1850s kept it from beginning construction until 1858 proper. We take into consideration how long it takes for skyscrapers to be built now, and when you take a look at the ever so outstanding architecture involving the Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, it is quite obvious as to why it took 23 years for this lovely building to be completed. Now, as is the story with most prisons, most hospitals, most asylums, and most other facilities, it is alleged that this facility was designed to only hold 250 patients, despite the absolutely massive space and size of not only its interior facilities, but also the actual land proper. We understand that, of course, that 250 would then be absolutely exponentially multiplied to include approximately 2,400 patients by the 1950s. We understand that there may be situations and circumstances where overcrowding may lead to a little bit of issues, a little bit of red tape, but 250, all of a sudden 2,400 are within its walls. That seems a little bit too much if you ask us here at the program. And of course, with that many patients and that few staff, you have to understand that it was absolutely rife for disorder, destruction, and dismay and despair. You may also recognize that the 1858 year of our lovely beginning took place during one of the most volatile and tumultuous times in American history. Yes, dear listener, because of course, construction of this lovely facility may have gone completely unfettered. It may not have taken 23 years, but of course we are very well aware that West Virginia was deeply involved in the American Civil War, and therefore resources had to be directed towards the war effort, and not much mind was provided to those in whom were in need of psychiatric assistance or addiction recovery assistance. Especially with it being considered a rudimentary practice at the time, there were not enough resources to take care of both the war and the war on the mind. When the Allegheny Lunatic Asylum was finally closed down on the 21st of June, 1990, it was easily identified that the facility itself had actually formally, physically closed eons prior. But the opening and the accessibility to individuals went all the way until the National Historic Listing in 1990 on the 21st of June. We also note that by the 1980s, one of the reasons why the decision was made to close it down was because of a reduced population over the course of time. Though it is directly noted that one of the reasons why this population was reducing wasn't necessarily because of the lack of psychiatric patients needing care. No, it was because this facility had garnered such a negative reputation that they would rather send their friends, their family, their loved ones anywhere else than this absolutely, allegedly abhorrent asylum. But, dear listeners, the woes and the whimsy of the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Weston, West Virginia have a litany of stories, hours and hours of data to pour through if you so shall choose, and understand that if you so dare, that you may be in for despair. Thank you for tuning in today. Provide us with your feedback on this episode in the comments section below, or email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. At the top of the program, we promised you a list of our top 5 current favorite teas, so without further ado, let us put the bag in. Coming in at number 5, we have raspberry. Coming in at number 4, we have snowberry. Coming in at number 3, we have jasmine. Coming in at number 2, we have chamomile. And coming in at number 1, of course, we have green tea. What are your top 5 favorite teas? Let us know in the comments section below. Today's joke has been brought to you by the Cleric of Chaos. What do you call it when a criminal just so happens to be landing a helicopter on a building? Simple. You call it condescending. Weston, West Virginia's Trans-Allegheny Asylum is an absolute astonishing example as to what can happen when you allow control to be left to those who may not be suited to be in charge of individuals and who may not necessarily be capable of handling themselves, dear. No, absolutely not. We understand that the asylum system in America, it was not perfect, but it was an attempt to ensure that the most vulnerable of individuals were not further scrutinized, only for the exact opposite to happen and for further chaos, destruction, and traumatizing issues to take place. We must do better as a species, especially when it comes to mental health. Thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourselves and each other. The Cheating Death Podcast has been brought to you by Nach dem Leben CRDVC, Cleric of Chaos, and where you may find all podcasts on all platforms. We'd like to thank Snow Bunny, Ransom, and Hunter Collins for their recent support to the Buy Me a Coffee Fund, and Carol for her support to the Injury Support Fund. If you'd like to support the program or the host, you may do so with the links in the episodes or the podcast's description. You may follow us at twitter.com/weallcheatdeath and twitter.com/clericofchaos. And please follow our new YouTube at youtube.com/@clericofchaos and youtube.com/@weallcheatdeath. Like, share, and subscribe, and leave us a comment. And if you or anyone you know are experiencing psychiatric duress or are in need of emergency assistance, please consult the telephone numbers listed in the episode and podcast description. If you or anyone you know is looking at adopting a playful puppy or a cute kitten, please visit your local animal adoption rescue center. Dear listener, we have said this numerous times, but it is imperative that you understand, as benevolent and as beautiful as you are, that time does not stop for anyone. It is merely a construct for all of us to justify the very nature of existence. Be kind to yourself, and remember, we're pulling for you. We're all in this together.